Bun 1.0 just dropped, and somehow it's even better than I hoped. I did not expect it to be anywhere near as fast or compatible as it is, and I wanted to talk a bit about it. We've all been using Node and NPM for years. Many of us have even moved to things like PNPM and tried out stuff like Dino. Bun's a bit different, though. Its focus is twofold. On one hand, it wants to really improve our developer experience around working with JavaScript, both in making our response times faster when we're building, so when you run a command or run an install or do basically anything, it responds faster. They're also trying to make a much faster runtime once your project is done and deployed. The Bun runtime is trying to make a lot of things faster, from JavaScript itself to WebSockets to SQLite. It seems like the goal here is performance, but it's deeper than that. So let's quickly go over the blog post, see all the things that they announced, and then at the end do some demos showing just how powerful Bun can be. Bun 1.0. They also did a video, so I'll leave a link to this in the description so you can check it out if you want to. I think they killed it with the video. It's like one of those fun Apple ones. Regardless, let's dive right in. Bun 1.0 is finally here. Bun is a fast all-in-one toolkit for running, building, testing, and debugging JavaScript and TypeScript from a single file to a full-stack application. Today, Bun is stable and production-ready. Provided a bunch of install methods, so you can install it however you want, even a Docker environment, which is really nice to see. They also have a built-in upgrade, which surprised how a few things have a good upgrade system built in. It's really convenient. Bun is an all-in-one toolkit. We love JavaScript. It's mature, moves fast, and developer community is vibrant and passionate. It's awesome. However, since Node debuted, things have slowed down. I'm not going to read this whole article. I'm going to leave the link in the description if you want to read the whole thing, but I want to go over the core points. Bun exists in order to eliminate slowness and complexity. This is a really big point. They want to address the performance as well as the complexity of the tools that we're using. And they don't want to throw away all the things that we love about JavaScript, in particular, the compatibility with our favorite libraries and frameworks. It's significantly faster for running your JavaScript code than Node is. It's significantly faster for transpiling your code than all of these other options are. And it's a significantly better overall bundling experience, and obviously performance is nuts too. And even as a package manager, it's killing it. It's actually one of the most impressive parts of Bun for me thus far. The reason it's so fast is they decided to leave behind the Node and V8 existing ecosystem in order to build on top of WebKit themselves. They built a WebKit and Zig pile of crazy performance hacks that is both compatible with most Node stuff and also way, way faster in a lot of cases. As they said here, it's not perfectly compatible, but it's surprisingly compatible. And they've also put a lot of work into making sure most existing popular full stack frameworks work out of the box. You can literally run bunx create React app or bunx create next app, and it behaves as you would expect, which is really, really cool. Bun is fast, starting up to 4 times faster than Node. It's insanely fast. This performance is nuts for startup times. Once you're compiling TypeScript as well, yeah, they transpile your TypeScript very, very quickly. This is one of the coolest underrated parts, and as a library maintainer, this is incredibly exciting to me. ESM and CommonJS compatibility. It just supports both at the same time. You don't have to do weird specifications with your files or anything. It just does what you need to. You can continue to use those extensions that will support it, but unnecessary. This example is insane too. Import Lodash from Lodash, require underscore. This is insane. This is in the same file, ESM syntax and CommonJS syntax working together because it just supports both. That's really cool, and it's going to make the story of intercompatibility between all of these tools significantly better. Web APIs. Bun has built-in support for the web standard APIs that are available in the browser. This is also huge, so you can use things like fetch on server and client, and it will behave as you expect. They also have really, really good hot reloading built in, which is something a lot of frameworks are missing. But their hot reloading isn't just for your web applications with UI changes. It also has hot reloading for things like running your tests. So you make a change to your test and you'll immediately see the output change. This is so nice to have that type of hot reloading, fast running experience with whatever type of coding you're doing. Really, really cool to see. They also built a really powerful plugin system that's similar to ES Builds, which is going to make it very easy for the ecosystem to build crazy things on top of it. I've already seen some really cool projects, and I'll be sure to cover more of those in the future. They also have a bunch of Bun APIs built in that are faster than the existing Node ones. So instead of Node's FS, you can use bun.file, and it will read it significantly faster than the alternatives. It will also process it into an array, blob, or whatever else you need to do with it faster than almost anything else. Reading files is 10 times faster, and writing them is 3 times faster. That's just hilarious. Bunserve is also really, really performant. This is their equivalent of doing something like your Express HTTP server, and you can spin this up very quick, and it will respond to requests 4 times more effectively. So you can serve 4 times more requests from a Bun service than a Node.js equivalent. They've also, as I mentioned before, built things like their SQLite layer, which is inspired by better SQLite. I'm surprised more runtimes haven't looked into database and interop there more, because when you get deep enough and you really focus on the performance of getting things into and out of your ORM, or in this case, just your query layer, you can make some insane optimizations. And what originally started as a side project, just like a little 2-day thing, has resulted in Bun SQLite with 4 times faster query times than the equivalent Better SQLite 3 Node.js queries. That's crazy. We're getting performance here that you would normally expect from a more native or system level language, because so much of the system level code we're calling from JavaScript has been optimized. They even have their own crypto password stuff too. Really cool. But here's the stuff that I am personally most excited about at the moment. Bun is a package manager. I did not expect this to be that big of a difference because, well, I use PNPM. It caches everything. How can you be faster than a cache? We'll get into that because I want to show some demos. The install speeds are insane, as you see here, going from 6 seconds with PNPM down to 0.3 seconds with Bun. You might think, oh, well, if it's cached, it can't be that much slower, right? We'll get there. We won't get there later. We'll do it right now. Let's take a look at how much faster Bun is versus PNPM on my machine. I went out of my way to clear the caches for both PNPM and Bun before running this, so it would be as fair of a test as possible. So I'm going to run on the left side PNPM and on the right side Bun. We're going to start the PNPM one first because it needs the head start. I'm running create T3 app, which is our equivalent of create next app, with a couple CLI flags, not because I don't like the CLI where you press enter and things, but I want the raw time without me having to confirm anything. So there are no outside factors with how performant this is. So this is both being installed fresh without having any cache locally. As you saw, it took a long time to type all of the stuff for Bun. Also, ignore the ASCII art breaking. Cool. It's already done. 1.4 seconds with no cache versus 6.8 seconds PNPM with no cache. That's a huge difference. That's hilarious. But now we have the cache. Both have a cache. They use the cache differently, which we'll get into in a minute. So we have the caches set up now, as I just installed these things. I deleted the folders. Let's run these again, seeing how much faster the cache makes both. That's insane. 0.24 seconds for Bun to complete an install once it already has the packages cached. PNPM is still going, and it took 5.9 seconds, despite having the cache locally. Sad to see. And again, these are two of the most performant solutions. PNPM is really fast. In 6 seconds to init a project, that's nothing to scoff at. That's really, really performant. I'm used to 30-second to 2-minute times from NPM and Yarn, even for something like Create T3 app, because Next.js comes with a lot of heavy native dependencies. That doesn't matter anymore, though. The size of my node modules is suddenly something I have to worry about a lot less in terms of its impact on developer experience. There is a slight catch, though, which is that PNPM installs your modules once in one place. They're all in your PNPM cache, and then it links to them from your node modules. For performance reasons, Bun has chosen to not do that on macOS. They actually specify in their documentation that they've chosen to cache primarily to prevent re-downloading in order to make things faster and not bottleneck you on the network. But they've also chosen to do fast copying on macOS. They want to use hard links wherever they can to save disk space, which is why they use them in Linux. But on macOS, the linking system is not performant enough, so they've chosen to clone the files and eat the disk space as a result. So this is probably the biggest blocker for me making the move straight over to Bun from PNPM, because I have a lot of projects on my machine, and if every single one of them has to clone 200 to 500 megabytes of node modules, that's a lot of storage space that I could be using to store the videos that I'm making for all of you lovely people. So for that reason, I will likely be using PNPM on a lot of the projects on my machine, but when I want to spin something up fast, you can bet your butt I'm using Bun for it now. It's just, the difference is absurd. I can't justify not using it. Back to the article quick though, because install is not the only command that Bun makes way faster. Kind of just makes all of your runs way faster. Just using Bun run instead of npm run, it's instant. And it's a small thing, but you really start to feel the lag when you use npm or pnpm run versus Bun run. So if I go to one of these projects, I'll open both actually. pnpm dev, which is the equivalent of pnpm run dev. It was quick, but it took a second. Versus Bun run dev, instant. Like, it's small, it's milliseconds, but it's also like half the runtime. Oops, I accidentally ran Bun run in a PNPM project, which funny enough you can do, which is totally fine. But that slight lag, those little things, it really feels different. And that's why they have the GIFs here to show it. And they're not just picking on npm. Yeah, this aligns up with my experience, probably due to the symlinking under the scene, but I've also noticed this with PNPM being slightly slower for initting a run. It's probably because of all that linking stuff behind the scenes, but it's still a really, really fast solution. Regardless, going from 260 milliseconds for an init to 7, that's crazy. That's nuts. And I know I'm not the big testing guy, but Bun as a test runner is super, super impressive. If I was to be writing tests, I would be using Bun for it. It even supports Jest, which is really cool to see. Even if you're already using the best testing solution right now, vtest, which is by far the most performant thing in the JavaScript ecosystem for testing, Bun's testing is literally 10x faster. They're already using this for the Zod test suite because, well, Colin, the creator of Zod and TRPC, also works now at Bun. So they have real code to test on, and they're doing it, and the performance is insane. Things like expect and equal are able to run in their native code instead of being within the JavaScript layer, which allows them to execute significantly faster. They even have an official GitHub action published if you want to use this for your tests, for your GitHub actions. Honestly, I might make the move over later tonight because this will help us with our build times and our test times quite a bit for things like upload thing. They even log the errors inside of the PR when they happen automatically using their GitHub action. And setting these things up yourself is not fun. It's dope that they did it for you. And now, the grand hurrah, the thing that most are excited about and honestly is a hot space to be competing in, Bun is a bundler. It means you can give it a TypeScript file, JavaScript file, whatever else, and it will traverse the tree, handle all the imports, and spit out an executable output. I have played with pretty much every build tool. At this point, I am using in production every bundler from Vite to Webpack to all the crazy stuff going on with TurboPack to my own custom stuff with NCC. I'm playing a lot with bundlers because they all have benefits and negatives and they all make sense in different places. But Bun seems to solve most of the problems I've had with most of the bundlers. And I'm really, really blown away with the performance that I've been seeing. Even compared to ESBuild, which is by far the fastest solution right now, Bun is faster. And when you compare it to Webpack, which is the industry standard, the thing that honestly I'm still stuck on most of the time, Bun is 220 times faster. That's insane. That is mind-bogglingly fast. And this diagram really shows it, as you probably saw in my thumbnail. It is mind-blowing how much faster Bun is than I ever would have expected. But one more thing. This is an important one more thing. They actually got Windows working somehow. I did not expect this. I really didn't think that Bun on Windows was viable, much less would be out by 1.0. It is still early, so while they 1.0'd both the Linux and Mac version, Bun is still experimental and early access. You can download it now and try it out if you want, but no, it will not be as stable as the Linux or Mac solutions. And if you really want to use Bun on Windows right now, use Windows Subsystem for Linux. It's a full Linux environment and you can use Bun in there and it will run great. Even virtualized, it'll probably be faster than anything you were doing natively in Windows before. What a release. I woke up early the last 2 days in order to get on top of Bun and get to try it out and see what it looks like on my projects. I'm excited to start shipping it in real projects and see what my build times and run times on servers end up looking like. If you're excited to see more of how Bun looks to use in production and how this will affect the ecosystem as a whole, make sure you're subscribed so you can check out the future videos I do covering all this. And let me know in the comments what you want to know about Bun and what you're excited about here. Thank you all so much. I highly recommend checking out the video that Bun did about this 1.0 release. So I'll pin that in the corner here so you can check them out for once instead. And make sure you come back after because I have a lot of videos about Bun already and many more coming soon. Thank you guys as always. Peace, nerds.